Hey everybody, Space Colonizer here. Decided to make a marathon-themed tutorial for all the people who are going to play this for the Big 20. That's also focused on teaching the game to people who've never played it before. So we start off with a new game, and then that's where your timer is going to start. I'm not going to start my timer right now just because we're going to be going through stuff slowly and doing save states. But you start your timer on when you start a new game, and then you can hold down the start button to buffer through the opening cutscene, and then we'll go straight here to Earth. The Overworld is this hex grid map. You've got this cursor here, is what I call it, that you can move around. If you try and go left and right, nothing will happen because nothing's directly left and right with the hex grid. So you can go up and down, and then you have to do diagonal movements to go diagonally. Now it's a little clumsy at first, especially the first move, because if you accidentally, when you're trying to go diagonally, if you accidentally go up first before, adding the sideways input, you'll go up. So it's actually better to start with your sideways movement and then roll down, although it didn't really work out that way. So it seems a little clumsy at first, but once you kind of get the used to it, not that bad. So just be mindful, but you don't have to play around with your cursor too much in this. You select a character, and then with the A button, and then you can move them. Godzilla only moves 2 hexes at a time. If you don't like the movement you did because you did something sloppy and you didn't move Godzilla, let's say I moved Godzilla and I went like this on accident, which we don't want to do for the route that we're going to follow. Oops. Well, you can press the B button. He'll rubber band back to where he started. Mothra moves 4 hexes at a time. Godzilla moves 2 hexes at a time. But Godzilla's better at fighting the monsters, and since that's required for the Big 20 competition, we're going to play as Godzilla. The any percent strats we use Mothra these days, but we're going to use Godzilla for this. Let me go into a stage real quick and then just talk a little bit about Godzilla's fighting animations or the types of attacks he can do. You've got a punch, which does 2 damage, and that's a 10-frame animation, so you can do about six punches a second if you get a good rhythm. Kicks are a 20-frame animation, so you can do 3 per second. They do 4 damage. So the hypothetical DPS of punches and kicks are about the same. Personally, I think doing a good punch rhythm is more reliable than a good kick rhythm, but maybe that's just me. If you hold down and kick, you do a tail slap. That's a 40-frame animation. Does the same damage as a kick, 4 damage. So it's a slower DPS, but it's longer range. You can kind of jump a little bit, or jump first and crouch to do a kick in the air. That's going to be useful in certain situations. So do keep that in mind. The start button, you do a breath weapon. This is your special. That causes lag, so that can slow you down. You don't want to overuse your breath weapon on these side-scroller screens, because it'll slow down your rightward progress. But sometimes it is the fastest way to clear out some obstacles. Something you want to be aware of, if you kick right before you do a breath weapon, it's a faster breath weapon. It still uses up the same amount of power on your power bar, but the animation is shorter. And this can be a benefit because it causes less lag. So when a short blast or a quick blast is all you need, it's better to do that because then you'll get less lag. And then that's it for the attack controls. The select button pauses the game. So now we'll go back here to the overworld. So that was all of Godzilla's attack stuff. But first we're going to go over killing Mothra. The reason that we kill Mothra usually is because, in order to finish the planet, all your player character monsters that are still alive need to exit the stage. They need to reach this hex, And then when they start their turn on this hex, if you select them and select them again, it asks you, do you want to move to the next planet, or do you want to move to the next field? And you say yes, and then you'll move to Mars. So you would have to do that for both Godzilla and Mothra if we were doing, say, for example, a Deathless run. But if Mothra dies, or any one monster dies, you can finish the stage with the other monster, and you'll be fine. And you'll still finish the stage. So you only need to finish the stage with one monster. And so we, strategically for this, you're going to want to kill Mothra off, or let her die, so that you don't have to play her through all these hexes to the grid. You'll just be taking Godzilla, who you're using for the fights anyways. So here's how we kill Mothra. Usually go down one. You can go down right one, or southeast. You're going to fly over all this stuff here for a little while. Watch out for these ships that come from in front of you. Shoot them to get them out of the way. Then you want to get hit by these lightning bolts from these radar dishes. These are going to do the most damage. So you kind of just stay in the corner. You don't have to fly up. You can be right on the bottom and you'll get hit by the lightning. So you don't have to fly up. Sometimes you feel tempted to fly up to hit those little jet fighters that are flying in the air, and that can technically be worth it, but you might accidentally fly above the lightning bolts, and so it can be kind of risky. So I'm going to show this Mothra death again. I'm going to go through each sort of thing at least twice just to sort of show them. Now, flying over all this stuff, just watching out for ships to come in front of me. And shoot them out of the way so they don't knock you back. You don't want to get hit by anything, because getting knocked back really sucks in this. Get hit by that lightning bolt, and then now I can just stay down here, move a little left and right just to get these balls from the sky to hit you if you can. But don't fly ahead of this front dish, or else the lightning bolt won't go off. You need to be to the left of the lightning dishes for them to shoot their lightning. And so that's how we kill Mothra. Then Gazora takes a turn, and then now I'll do a save state. And now we're going to go and do our first Godzilla stage. So for Godzilla, we're going to, like I said, he only moves 2 hexes at a time. There are several ways you can move him for the first turn. Doesn't matter which way you do it, as long as at the end of your first turn, you want to be adjacent to this hex, because you want this to be the first hex that you go into on your second turn. So you can do Godzilla out like this, you can do Godzilla out and down, or you can do Godzilla down. Well, see, that was down twice and that was bad. Down and then down right. So usually I go out to like this. Sometimes I go like this. It doesn't matter. We're just going to do this. They're going to be exactly the same, because these 2 hexes have the exact same environment. Oh, and these two hexes have the exact same screen, and these 2 hexes have the exact same screen. So that's why it doesn't really matter which one of these you do. They all represent the exact same 2 side-scroller screens. Now to start off with, for this screen, we're going to do one of those quick blasts. So we're going to kick and breath to get these out of the way. Sometimes you don't get this bottom portion and you have to kick it. But if you time everything right, there we go. And then you can just tail slap. Usually I jump over this stump. Right there, you notice it didn't really work. I got knocked back by a spaceship. But normally I try to jump over this, and I sort of kick to oh, that's something I didn't mention. This is important. You don't get knocked back when you're in the middle of an animation, of an attack animation. So if something hits you, you get hit by a laser, and you're in an animation, you can keep moving forward. And so that's why it's important to attack at certain times. Even if you're not damaging something, just if you're about to get hit, attack so that you don't get knocked back. The tail slap is the longest animation, 40 frames. So that's why this is going to be, you're going to be tail slapping a lot to avoid knockbacks. But let's start over again. Like didn't do the quick blast there. Okay, so there I did 2 kicks, and now I'm just going to tail slap my way off the stage to avoid more knockbacks, just in case something flies on screen, just as we're about to walk off to the right. So I'm going to do this again. This time I'm going to tail slap. Oh, I didn't get the kick. I kicked too early, so it happened before. So you can also just do a couple of tail slaps on that stump and go by. If you don't like the jump, if you think the jump is too risky, that's another way to do it. Let's do it here with the kick. Kick, blast. So let's jump over this one because I didn't get it. Couple of tail slaps for that. And then off the side. So you see how I was using tail slaps so that when that jet fighter hit me, it didn't knock me back. And now I'm going to save state again. So that was that first screen. I've showed it enough times that you kind of understand how to do it. So now for this screen, we're going to jump over this stump. And then you immediately want to start tail slapping once you land in order to get it so that these lasers don't knock you back. Sometimes I do like a little delay or a little wiggle that sometimes helps it with a little bit of the timing. But see, so right there I got knocked back because I didn't wiggle. So let me show you with the wiggle. Well, the wiggle didn't help there. And that's how you do that. Now, as we're approaching this row of mountains that's going to be here, what we're going to do is we're going to tail slap this front mountain. See the one that's like a little bit more in the front? The next 3 are going to be like right next to each other. This one's a little shifted forward. We're going to tail slap it, and then I'm going to jump and kick the remaining top portion, and then I'm going to do a blast. So that's how I'm going to do this. So jump over this, tail slap, don't worry about that knockback there. Tail slap, kick, breath weapon through all of these. Had to tail slap that, there was a little peak there remaining. And then jump over that stump. Do kicks while you're jumping over it to avoid knockbacks, and then tail slap off the rest of the screen. So I'm going to do that again. Jump, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, kick, quick breath, kick at that lightning so it doesn't knock me back while I'm jumping over the stump, and then tail slap off the side of the screen. But that was those 2 screens. Then Magua took his turn. Now we're going to move down to making sure that this next one that we're going into is the wormhole. That's why, being adjacent to this, we're going to go through this wormhole, and then this. It's going to ask us, do we want to fight? We say yes. Do we want to fight Gazor? It says yes. Some people are kind of confused by these menus. The reason it's set up this way is sometimes you're next to 2 enemies at the same time. So first it wants to ask, do you want to fight an enemy at all? And then if you're next to multiple enemies, it'll ask, it's basically going like, did you want to do this one? No. Oh, did you want to do this one? No. So it gives you the option of which enemy to fight if you're next to multiple enemies. So that's why it has to ask you. They could have programmed it so that it didn't ask you when there's only one option. Is maybe the way they should have done it, but they didn't. So yes, you want to fight. Yes, you want to fight Gazor. So the really easy trick for this screen. Well, let me show you what happens if you don't do anything. If we just try and walk, these little Metroids come out. Okay, so there we go. I got knocked back there. So normally when you just try and walk, you get these guys, and then you'd have to do a breath weapon to clear them out of the way, and then walk off. So if you tried to like tail swap past them, they'd come and hit you anyways, most likely. So you'd still have to breath weapon. You'd possibly get knocked back. But the Bagler 5 came up with this trick where we're going to jump up at a certain time to make it so that the Metroids fly up, and then we can go under them. Basically, if you look at the right of the screen, at the pattern that's on the floor, that little, where there's those two bumps that are meeting each other, that's where we want to jump. So right above, like, the tens place of the frame counter right now is where we want to be when we jump. So, there. And then you see that guy goes high, and then we can duck under and slide off the screen. So hopefully I explained enough. We're jumping right there, and then duck under and walk off the screen. We're going to do that again one last time. Jump right here, and then slide off screen. We don't even have to be doing these tail slaps. I'll do it without the tail slaps. You can just jump and duck and slide, and boom, you're off that screen. Then it's this screen again. We've done this one. Jump, tail slaps. I should have done a little wiggle there. Let's do a wiggle. Jump, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, kick, breath weapon. I got knocked back over the mountain because I kicked at a plane, at a ship. I kicked at a ship when I probably should have punched and then kicked at the lightning. I knocked back a little bit there. I got tail slap, kick, breath, and then get through that. Kick the lightning. So I'm just going to pause here real quick. So Gazora is really RNG heavy. She jumps around wildly, backwards and forwards, based off RNG. She does not do any damage, so you're never going to get killed by Gazora. But she can just, with bad RNG, she can just keep jumping left and pin you to the left side of the wall. And even though you won't be getting damaged, you can't attack her, and it just wastes time. So that's sort of the worst case scenario with Gazora. She just pins you to the left. It shouldn't be, with how few hit points she has, it shouldn't be so bad that you can't kill her in one fight. But she will waste time. But what we usually like to do with her is start with a breath weapon, press into her. Ooh, that was really nice. She went to the right at the start, and then do some punches. And that went out. That was really great right there. That's what you want to see. She moves to the right while you're pushing into her with the breath weapon. She goes to the right while you're pushing into her with the breath weapon. And then you're able to punch her while she was coming left. I kept just the right distance so I could hit her with punches without getting hit by her, without getting knocked back. So we're gonna try this again. So this time she didn't go right. And now you see she's pinning me. She didn't pin me enough though. So that was still pretty good there. I'm just mixing up the RNG here. See what I get here. I basically try aiming for the eyeball. So that was a good fight right there. Something you want to keep in mind with Gazora is you've got to wait for her body to explode and finish falling off the screen before things end. So the higher up she is on the screen when you kill her, the longer you have to wait watching her explode and fall down. So when you're down to like one more punch to kill her, it can be a good idea to like let her drop on the screen before you land that last punch. Because when she's alive, she falls faster than when she's dying, so she'll come down more. So let me maybe try and show an example of me delaying my final punch until she drops. You don't want to do it too much or else you're wasting more time. Oh, see, here's me getting pinned. So actually, when you get pinned like that, and you've actually built up enough energy to blast again, because yeah, you can blast when your power bar is at about half. So here with 6 bars, you know, when you've got 3 bars, basically you can power blast. But yeah, when she's got you pinned and you have enough power to blast, you know, you should spam. So let me actually show an example of that. I'll just sort of let her pin me. Well, come on. And then, well, I didn't let her pin me. But while you're pinned, you can be spamming the start button so that as soon as she backs up, you blast her. And can finish her off. Now I've got me pinned. Now I'm going to switch to the start button. So that was a good example of doing that. So I'm gonna save state here. That way I can do some attacks and mix up the RNG for Magua here. Because now we're going to go over how to fight Magua. So fighting Magua is very different from fighting Gazora. Gazora was very random. She's just jumping around like crazy. She only has one big hitbox. So it doesn't matter what kind of attacks you do. Your breath weapon's just going to hit her one hitbox. But Magua has two hitboxes. One that's kind of low, basically on the upper thigh, and one that's kind of high, essentially in the chest. And I've shared a picture of what that looks like in the Big20 Discord, so you can find sort of a visualization of the hitboxes there if you want to see that. Now, the reason the hitboxes are important is if you hit both hitboxes at the same time, you're doing double damage. And this is especially great with the breath weapon. With the breath weapon, a full breath will do 2 bars of damage against one hitbox, but 4 bars of damage if you're hitting both. In order to hit both, you need to be a certain distance away from Magua. You want sort of the wide end of your blast to be hitting the middle of his body. But the problem is Magua will move, so whereas Gazora's movement is RNG dependent, Magua is not really, well, there's a little bit of RNG to his movement, but there's also some predictability. For example, when you're doing your breath weapon, he'll move towards you. And I told you want to be at a certain distance for your breath weapon to hit both hitboxes. That means in order to maintain that correct distance, you need to back away while Magua is approaching you while you're blasting, so that you stay on both hitboxes. So in order to have enough room to back up for that, you need to push Magua to the right to start with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some tail slaps to push him to the right. And then once he's to the right, back up, breath weapon. Then I tail slap him to the right again. And then I go and do punches. And then when he gets down really low, I'm going to start hopping a little bit during the punches, because that'll encourage him to hunt. So see that? There was no death animation. We didn't see him exploding and falling off the screen. That's because when he died, he jumped in the air. So for Magua, if you punch him in the air or kick him, you do a physical attack when he's in the air, there won't be a death animation, and you'll just go straight to the overworld. That saves you a few seconds. That's nice. You don't want to waste too much time trying to do it and failing, and then get the death animation anyways. So just little hops at the end. Little hops at the end is all it takes. And sometimes it doesn't work, and that's fine. It's just a few seconds. So now I'm going to show you how to try and hit both hitboxes with a physical attack. You can never do that with punches. But with tail slaps, you can do these little hops, and you're hitting both hitboxes at the same time with these hops. And that can make things go a little faster. So that worked out really nicely there. So you might want to practice your hops during your tail slaps, so you can hit both hitboxes at the same time with a tail slap. You can also do it with a kicks. And so I'll do a kicking strategy here to show you what it looks like. Worked out pretty good right there. So that's the Magua strategy. I'll do it one more time. I'll do it with punching, trying to get the animation. I'll do hopping tail slaps. Hopping tail slaps to the side. Oop. He blocked my blast there, so I had to reposition him again. Ooh, he's being really aggressive right now. And I didn't get the death animation there. So that was a pretty, because he kept knocking me back, that ended up being not a great fight. But it was still okay. So we're going to end it with that example. That's an okay fight right there. And now I'm going to save state. So now we're all clear. And Mothra's dead. The two enemy monsters are dead. All we got to do is take Godzilla through two side-scroller screens, and then another two, and then we exit the stage. This first stage is going to be a lava planet. Let's do this, or a lava stage. This one's kind of sucky. Let me show you something that sucks here. I'm gonna leave this guy alive, blast through him, and just sort of drift through him like that. So if you leave these, I call them fire harpies. If you leave these fire harpies alive off to the side of the screen like this, and then you get knocked back, you'll get deathlocked. There's nothing I can do about this right now. I'm completely deathlocked, and you'll die. And then we're going to get a game over. So you want to be careful not to leave these guys behind if you can avoid it. Or you just need to be really careful not to get knocked back. But what I like to do is step up to it, do one of these quick blasts, so kick before you breath weapon, so that way you have less lag, and then you'll get these two fire harpies. You gotta jump to get the top fire harpy. And then this guy, I tail slap him. Technically, this guy will deathlock you, but I usually am okay with leaving him behind just because of the way things are positioned. But I tail slap him as I'm approaching. That way he doesn't, if he shoots any fireballs, I get rid of the fireballs. And then I just tail slap this volcano, kick this volcano, quick breath against that dragon, that lava dragon, and then tail slap off the side of the screen. Let's do it again. One more time. Quick breath. These harpies. Jump and hit that guy. Tail slap the volcano. Get rid of these. Kick, breath. Tail slap. Jumping tail slap that volcano. Tail slap off the side of the screen. Now on this screen, there aren't going to be any mountains or any obstacles in our way. The real issue on this side-scroller screen is the lag. These little purple, and there's eventually going to be yellow squid monsters. I call them lag monsters because they multiply if you leave them alive. I mean, more of them spawn, but in addition to that, they multiply, and then they just clog the screen up, and they cause a whole bunch of lag. So we want to get through this stage. We want to kill these guys before they divide so that they don't cause lag. Usually just a couple of punches is enough. And these purple ones, they don't do damage and they won't knock you back. Usually just kind of spam punches while moving, and that kind of usually gets the job done. These yellow ones, they can hit you and deal damage. So you want to be careful with them. You can also use a quick blast here at the beginning to get rid of these two guys. I missed this one. But yeah, basically just keep walking right and kill guys so they don't build up and multiply and cause lag. That's basically the deal there. And we got these last two side scroller screens. This first one's very simple. We just tail slap whenever these balls are about to hit you, and then kick this guy pretty much right when you get up to him. Go. Now this stage has been giving people a lot of problems. Now, this first knockback, that's unavoidable. So don't worry about that knockback. Don't try and spam. The way we're playing this, you're not going to... There is a frame-perfect way of blocking this, but not right here. It happens in certain situations. I'm not going to explain it right here. But right here, the way we're doing this, the knockback's unavoidable. But yeah, all the things on here, in order to destroy them, it's all about timing. For these ball shooters, it's when they're open, like just before they're about to shoot. That's when you can destroy them. There's these triple missile shooter things. It's after they like move up or down. You can destroy them. There's a brief window where you can destroy them. The little triple laser shooters, you destroy them as they're shooting. So it's not about. It's always about timing with stuff on this stage. But you want to keep moving to the right here. Block this knockback. So see this missile. I waited until it moved and then kicked it. Then these eyes, you can kick them anytime. Watch out for this wall. Give it a couple of kicks when you get up to it. Wait for that to move. Do that. I'm doing this a little fast. I'll explain it more again later. Just walk up to this missile shooter. Wait for it to move. This one you might want to get a tail slap on. So I just push up into the missile shooters and kick them until they move. And the kicks are preventing the knockbacks. So this knockback unavoidable. Avoid the knockback. Move up to this thing and then just start kicking, and you just need to know that it's not going to do anything until it moves. Kick the wall as you're walking into it. Ooh, oops, ooh, almost missed a kick on that. Oops, okay. Ooh, wow. I'm getting good timing on some of these kicks. So that was really good. So just avoid knockbacks. Press up into the missile shooter. Kick it as soon as it moves. Kick the wall as you get up to it. Avoid knockbacks. That one I usually gotta do a tail slap on. Oops. Got a lot of knockbacks there. So that was good enough. So for some weird reason, I think I used to remember I used to know what the reason was, but I forgot what it is. Your cursor is back here when you get to this point. It's not on Godzilla already. So it just kind of goes back to where it was on the previous turn. I have no idea why it does that, or I don't remember why it does that. So, but when you're here on the final turn, you will need to move your cursor back to Godzilla. It's kind of weird. Then you select Godzilla, select him again. It asks, do you want to move to the next field? You say yes, and it moves you to Mars. And that's when the word Mars appears on screen. That's when your timer ends. So, I'm just going to do a run here. Should be hopefully under 5 minutes is the hope. And let's go. Buffer start here. We're going to kill Mothra first. Usually I should be about 41 seconds. 41 seconds when she starts exploding is a good Mothra death. But usually you'll probably have something more like 45 seconds. I missed a lightning cycle on the front dish, so this is going to be a little slow on the death. Move around, don't move too far to the right, but move around just a little bit if you need to get some of these balls that are falling from the sky. Well, so that was a 41 Mothra death, so that ended up being pretty good. The Gazor goes. Move 2. Quick blast. Kicking while I'm jumping over the stump to avoid knockbacks. jump, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, kick, breath. Need to get that straggler there. Kick through the lightning. Alright, then Magua goes. Down 2, yes, yes. You can just spam, so the cursor is already on yes. The Bagler bump. Tail slap, go off the screen. Jump. Tail slap, tail slap, tail slap. Tail slap, kick. Breath. I had to do a couple of kicks there. That was pretty dicey, but it worked out good. Okay. Push into her with the breath weapon. And then punches until she dies. Ooh, she died low on the screen. That's good. That was a really good Gazor death. That was a really good Gazor death. Okay, Magua, I'm gonna tail slap him to the side. I did not get the death animation skip. So that wasn't a great Magua fight, but that's okay. Certainly decent. I'm on a good pace here, actually. Do these, do that. Breath weapon there, tail slap there. Oops, got a little knockback there that I didn't like. Okay. Gonna do a quick blast here to get rid of these guys. That was pretty sloppy on the lag monster area. I could have done that a lot better. Tail slap, tail slap, tail slap, tails. Oops, missed a tail slap. That's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. This is bad. That was real sloppy. That was real sloppy. I still might get a sub 5, but I think I just costed myself a sub 440 with that sloppiness. I was on a good pace. Oh, I missed this attack here. So 449. So good. I mean, good. That's the kind of time y'all are going to be wanting in the Big 20. So, sub 5 is what everyone should be hoping for. So that's it. I don't know if I needed to go over anything else. Obviously, I've been very active in the Big 20 Discord and the Godzilla channel. So if people have questions, I'm answering it in there. I also have a forum topic on speedrun.com and the Godzilla boards where people can ask questions. We have a Godzilla-specific Discord. You can find the link on the speedrun.com page. There's a link to the Discord, the Godzilla Discord. All right, thanks everyone for watching this, and I hope it helps. Good luck in the tournament.